back in the saddle with a part 2 of Emily W. King shredding these modern women. Let's get
a guy that I went on two dates with, two dates with, who had only ever seen pictures of my dog, took it upon himself to look up my address and mail me flowers from my dog on Mother's Day. And not only did he send flowers, but the flowers also came with a card. So this is the card, little dog. Okay. Dear Mom, I think about you every day. Can't wait to see you and give you lots of cuddles and kisses. Happy Dog Mom Day. Love, your number one fur baby. P.S. I heard you met this amazing guy who has 2 dogs and lots of room to play. We should sniff that out sometime. I met this man twice. We went on 2 dates. I have maybe spent 4 hours with this person. Hadn't seen him in a week. He'd never been to my apartment. He didn't know where I live, but he found out and sent me flowers. So you guys, be careful out there. Be careful.
The truth that a lot of men already know is that her reaction to his niceness all depends on how much she actually likes him. For her to find this creepy and overboard, it's because she doesn't like him that much. Because let's be honest, we've heard the same stories from women that absolutely love this type of effort, and they fall heads over heels. So for men, it's very confusing on what he should or shouldn't do. What's crossing the boundary, what isn't. And if in this particular case, that woman could just be open and have that communication with that man, she would probably find out that his intentions were pure and that he's not a creep. Unfortunately, most likely that's not what's going to happen. She's just going to ghost him. And that's why the next time that man is going to put in less effort, which is so unfortunate because the problem is not in him, it's in her. Every man dreams of being with a woman that initiates intimacy is because it makes him feel.
That is very spot on, but I would also like to add another reason. In my own experience, if my partner is never initiating, it actually makes me feel gross. Because if I'm the only one initiating, it makes me feel like they don't want to be intimate with me and that they only do it as to not upset me. And that makes me feel like I'm using them, which feels gross. Even if they expressly say that yes, they do want to be intimate, but they just prefer that the guy initiates, it still makes me feel like it's completely one-sided.
Have you ever seen so many men so interested in a domestic violence before?
And you wonder why men never talk about being victims, because they are either not going to be believed or they're going to be shamed. Because look at this. They're being shamed for just being interested in a case in which a man is potentially the victim. And by the way, how is a man fighting for his individual justice bad for women? Because you're afraid of that idea being out there, that a man could be a victim of a woman? Well, let's be clear, it is. But then there's toxic content and supporters of this type of content. And 2 years down the line, you're going to be turning to your husband, your boyfriend, and frustrated that they keep it all in. And you wonder why.
No. Our generation is cooked. There's no way! Kaka's ex-wife has just come out saying why she actually divorced Kaka, who she was married to for 10 years, saying, Kaka never betrayed me. He treated me well. He gave me a wonderful family, but I was not happy. Something was missing. The problem was he was too perfect for me. You're telling me that this woman married her childhood sweetheart and divorced him after 10 years, even after 2 children, to end up going with a bad boy. So she was married to a Champions League winner, World Cup winner, and Ballon d'Or winner, and yet she still divorced him. Not to mention that this guy is one of the most handsome men in football. I'm not gay, but this guy is majestic, let's be real. Lads, if this guy ended up being single and got divorced for being too perfect, our chances are not even slim. There's no hope for us.
This is quite literally a good man's worst fear. Because I bet you anything that man did everything that he thought he needed to do to be a good husband. The problem with that is when there happens to be a mismatch, meaning what he is doing is not exactly what she needs. Guess whose responsibility that is to communicate it? It's hers, and that's what men are saying. They're saying that you need to communicate this to them because they are not mind readers. This poor woman got so much hate in the comments, and you can probably guess which gender had the most to say. Meanwhile, this woman is just expressing her love and doing what she can to support her man. Which, roles reverse, men that show up and show off the support that they give their wives or girlfriends, they are only praised. I would call that a double standard.
This just goes to show you that modern women are never satisfied. They always have to hate on somebody else doing better than them, and that's it.
I did not interview men for the first 4 years of my study. And it wasn't until a man looked at me one day after a book signing and said, "I love what you have to say about shame. I'm curious why you didn't mention men." And I said, "I don't study men." And he said, "That's convenient." And I said, "Why?" And he said, "Because you say to reach out, tell our story, be vulnerable. But you see those books you just signed for my wife and my 3 daughters?" I said, "Yeah. They'd rather me die on top of my white horse than watch me fall down." When we reach out and be vulnerable, we get the shit out of us. And don't tell me it's from the guys and the coaches and the dads. Because the women in my life are harder on me than anyone else.
If he gave you a guilt-free pass to sleep with anybody in the world, would you use it?
Yeah.
On who?
Zac Efron, Josh Bowman, some celebrity, hot celebrity. You turn that down? Mm-mm. Couldn't do it.
All right, what if it was all the way around?
I know what I'm worth. One night with one celebrity doesn't change who I am.
So you wouldn't use it?
Even
There's
if I
no
gave
point.
it to you?
No. Because it sounds like a trap. If your significant other is willing to give you a one night.
You can see it in this man's face, the level of disappointment that he has in his lady's answer. But even through that silent hurt, he gives an authentic answer instead of one that he thinks will also hurt her. So it is clear that this is a good man and he 100% deserves better. I think in most cases, women don't really know how strong men are until you get yourself into a situation like this. The immediate instinct in a woman is to look for a man's help. And I get that a lot of women might come into the comments and say, well, there were only men standing around. It was a weight room. But we have seen video after video just like this. And guess who always takes the weight off? Let's not also forget to point out that these men are 100% respectful. They just help and then they walk away. They're not asking for a chit chat. They're not asking for your number, ladies. Because the truth is that man is just there trying to get a workout. But you know what? He's always willing to step in and help. The problem isn't the fact that he's a man. The problem is that you're probably sending those photos way too early in the relationship. Because a good man that you've been in a relationship with, he will delete those photos after you are no longer together. Because most likely you broke his heart and the only thing those photos will do is remind him of what he lost. Trust me.
My dad once told me that he loves my mom more than he loves me. And I was like, oh... completely unprompted. I was like, okay, thanks. Okay, cool. And then he was like, well, because your mom gave me you, so of course I love her more. And I was like, oh. And he said, it's kind of sweet. And then I thought about it, and I was like, Mom does not feel that way about you.
I would stand to argue that most men that are in healthy relationships that love their wives absolutely would say the same thing. They love their wives more than their children. And what I think about that is that that's how it should be. But what's really kind of messed up is the last thing that she says. And a lot of women are agreeing in the comments. Women are saying that they 100% love their children more than their husbands. This is just another example of how children and women are loved unconditionally, yet men are loved only with conditions. And of course, there's exceptions to this. There are some unicorn women that absolutely will love their husbands unconditionally. But But the fact that this is a not so common belief is kind of messed up.
Well, they're agreeing because they're idiots. They're agreeing because they don't have any respect for men, and they wonder why men don't do anything for them. A man won't take out the trash. A man won't do the dishes. A man won't cook for them. A man won't clean, won't pamper them, won't spoil them. It's because the way you feel about him is really showing up in the way you act. You throwing a little bit his way, a little something his way every so often is not enough to sustain somebody, and they know you're just doing it out of obligation.
I recently was going on dates with a man, and nice guy, good guy, treated me well. But once I realized that he was not my husband, because I'm only looking for husband energy at the moment, I ended things with him, and I sent him a text. Because it wasn't that serious, I didn't feel like I needed to do it in person. Anyways, I sent him a text, told him that I didn't see it going any further, and he agreed. He said that he didn't think that he could make me happy. And while I appreciate that, it was a very kind response, he didn't even try. He didn't even try and say that he, wanted to change, that he wanted to, whatever. I can be manipulated. I will listen to you. But you didn't even try.
Good men have zero interest in these relationship games and chasing something that doesn't want to be caught. They no longer even question if you're trying to play a game. They just take what you say at face value. And it sounds like he wanted wife energy, not red flag, want to play games, not so serious girl energy. So at that point he said, okay, yeah, I agree. Move on. The thing about good men that a lot of women don't realize is that they are oftentimes overthinkers, because the man that overthinks is also the man that overloves. It is why you don't want to play games with this type of man, because if you do, you will lose your chance with him.
Must have been a deadly kiss. Only love can hurt like this.
This is just further proof that when a woman is in trouble, when she's in danger, she will look for help. And I dare say that she is hoping that there is a man there to help her instead of a bear. Woman. And let's acknowledge how this man in particular, he was happy to help. But then he got out of there quickly. Super respectful. Because ladies, not every man working out in the gym wants you. He probably actually already has a woman that he's happy with or annoyed with at home. And even if he's single, trust me, he's not thinking that you set this up in order to get his attention. He is just naturally going to step in to help a woman because that's how he was raised. He, deep down to the core, believes that that is what men are supposed to do. But even if he's single, he's just trying to get a workout in. Don't overthink it. Can we talk about the man that's still single because he hasn't found the one that he wants to give everything to? And he's not settling for less, not just because of himself, but because he would never want to lead a woman to think that she is that one. When really, he knows very quickly whether or not she is. And he would rather stay single than to hurt someone the way that he's been hurt. That man is a good man, and he will give literally everything to that woman once he finds her.
And where down we
Men are not complicated, which is why they hate it when you play games, because they do and say what they want. If he wants to hear your voice, he'll call you. If he has a thought about you, it will come out of his mouth. If he wants you, he will say it. And if he cares, he will show it.
So last night, my husband and I, we were on the couch, before bed, and we were just ready to go upstairs and have some alone time. Sorry, this is TMI, but there's a point to this conversation. And I was like, okay, well, I have to go switch the laundry, which immediately made me mad because I was just mad. But stay focused, right? Stay focused. Don't look at anything. Don't get distracted. Just stay focused on what's to come. So I go to the basement, and while I was down there, it started to happen. I started to get irritated looking at all the laundry and how the kids will put loads of clothes in or things that are just theirs, but the load is this tiny while there's a massive amount of laundry sitting on the floor that they could have added to their pile. I could feel the frustration building and building. And I was like, no, stay focused, Amanda. Like, everything's fine. You're just going to let this roll off. It's totally stress-free, whatever. So I'm carrying up this massive load of laundry that was in the dryer. And it was really heavy. And I also needed to bring up, I think I had my Bible in my hand, my water bottle, my phone, like other things. So as I'm standing at the bottom of the stairs, I came up from the basement, standing at the bottom of the stairs, I start yelling for my husband so he could like come and grab the basket and I could carry everything else up. And I'm yelling his name, and no one's coming. And mind you, I'm sure one of my children probably hear that I'm yelling for my husband, and still, no one comes out of their room. And I'm yelling, and then I could feel it. I could feel like that burn and frustration and anger and everything that my husband ever did that I absolutely hated him for was happening and reminding me in that moment. So now I'm taking the laundry basket, and I'm going one step at a time. Like the laundry basket and then my feet up and then the laundry basket. And halfway up the stairs, I was like, if somebody tries to talk to me right now, I'm getting all hot and I'm starting to sweat. And I get up at the top of the stairs and I go in my son's room and he's still on his video games, which he's not supposed to be because he was already supposed to be showered and now getting into bed. And he looks at me like, takes one, you know, his headphones on, just takes one ear off and looks at me like, do you need something? And I'm like, oh no. So now at this point, I've like tipped the bucket. There is no coming back from it. I'm too frustrated. You've sent me over the edge. It's all your guys' fault now. Everybody included. Where's my husband? Is he just laying in the bed, just ready and waiting? Like, while I gotta fold this hot laundry? So I head into my bedroom carrying this big hot load of laundry, looking like I got attacked by a pack of wolves just trying to get up my stairs. My husband looks over at me and I'm like, I've been calling your name. I was at the bottom of the stairs. I called your name like 100 times. He's like, I couldn't hear you over this fan. Oh, you couldn't? You couldn't, could you? As he climbs into the bed and pulls the covers up, right? As I'm standing here like this, dumping the laundry out and every shirt I pull out and I'm shaking it while staring him down. And I know my husband knows that after I fold this hot, steamy laundry, now I have to go into the bathroom and do a whole routine of washing my face and brushing my teeth and doing all the things. All the things still have to happen. Maybe you could volunteer to fold the laundry while I go into the thing. So maybe by some miracle, we could come back together and have alone time. Maybe. But no, he just lay there in the bed watching the television as I sit over there just sweating, shaking out the clothes, folding everybody's stuff while screaming down the hall at myself.
I'm probably going to get attacked for this, but her husband probably thought that she was just going to easily switch the laundry over like she said, without knowing that it was a stressful task that she really needed help with because she was feeling overwhelmed. And notice how she already said that she was mad at that point, which is when she should have asked for help. Heck, her husband probably would have taken every step of that task while she went upstairs to get ready for bed. And let's not forget that he may have even felt disregarded at that point because he doesn't understand why laundry needs to be prioritized in that moment. Ladies, this is why clear communication is so important. Allow your man the chance to offload your burden. Stop trying to do it all while sacrificing your connection. It's not worth it.
Nothing to see here. Modern women getting mad because they don't know how to communicate and wanting the man to just read their mind.
You want me to tell you a secret about women that I'm going to get into a lot of trouble telling you? And this is something that they will take to the grave, I swear. Don't bother asking them because it doesn't matter how good of a woman she is, she will lie. A woman will never admit how much she straight up stalked you before dating you. In a woman's mind, there is literally no line to mark an appropriate amount of information that she should or shouldn't gather about you before dating you. And by the way, woman to woman, there is no shame in this game. Her girlfriends will even assist in the collection of information. And the most important part here is that as you're dating her and she starts to like you more and more, she will dig further and further and she will find out more and more about you. She will know all of your extended family members' names before you even mention them. She will know your address and what your place looks like before you ever invite her. She will know where you work, even if you haven't specifically mentioned it, and she will probably make some assumptions as to how much you make. But although she has no shame in telling her girlfriends all the FBIing that she's been doing on you with some of her assistants, she will absolutely never admit it to you. She will never admit to it because it might reveal that she actually was into you more than you were into her. And that feels like she's giving up the power dynamic that she has on you. Can we talk about the man that got out of a toxic relationship years ago? He probably decided to remain single rather than risk his sanity again. Now it's been so long that he no longer actively seeks a relationship anymore. And it's not that he's sworn them off. It's just that he has no reason to chase something when he's already found his peace.
Shut the hell up, honey. Oh,
cry? You did all this fight by these little things?
I only cried 2 times.
Why would you cry?
Because I was really stressed out. It was really hard.
Honey, you did all this. Oh my. You put the books up there because you asked for my favorite series.
I wanted something up there.
Oh, I love you. You're a little sweaty from doing that.
This is the type of thing that makes men want to be in a relationship. He wants somebody to come home to. He wants somebody to cuddle at night. He wants somebody to send all the funny TikToks to. He wants somebody that will just love him and that is willing to show their love without all of the conditions. So for those of you that are still asking, where are these guys that want relationships? They are all over the place. It's just that he needs you to be the right type of woman. The woman that would do something like this for her husband.
What's going on?
Oh, I think this happens a lot, but why? Why do us women think that our man needs to be constantly working or striving instead of relaxing, whether that's doing a hobby that they enjoy or taking a nap? I think it might have to do with women not feeling like they have the time or ability to do this for themselves. I mean, how many TikToks do you see of a wife explaining how sick and tired she is of her husband not helping out enough around the house or with the kids? But look, controlling his time is not the solution because he's going to see it just like that you're controlling, and that's going to affect the relationship in a very negative way. Instead, talk to him because I'm assuming he's a good man if you married him, and that man wants to see you happy. The problem is when you don't actually have the conversation with him and he cannot read your mind. This is something that women do not want to hear, but most men will totally agree with. When a man goes to his woman to tell her that he is losing physical attraction, maybe because she's gained weight or has cut her hair or doesn't wear makeup or nice clothing anymore, the majority of the time she positions that issue as a him problem. He's being mean, superficial, unsupportive, and maybe as far as his fault. It is very rare, I don't think it ever happens, where a woman will actually take in that information and make changes to her lifestyle. Which that can be her prerogative, but I think the interesting thing is that this is not what happens when men are presented with the same information. I've literally watched men make changes to their lifestyle in order to improve their physical features to make their wife more happy. Do you guys see this difference too?
I started recording my date as soon as I noticed some red flags. He said he brought something fun, so I got scared. And right before our sushi came, he pulled these out. He told me they were chopsticks with a Star Wars reference. It was super weird, and he even brought some for me, but I said no.
Let's get this straight. That man is the one that dodged the red flag. Because him bringing something to a date that is not only unexpected, but funny and also just very unique to his interest, that is a total green flag. Because that man is just being himself and he's confident in being himself. So the only red flag is when the woman that he is showing his authentic self to belittles him or makes fun of him. Guys, I really recommend doing something like this that is very specific to your hobbies and interests. Because then you can weed out the wrong ones starting on date 1. Trust me, it will save you a lot of hassle. Funny guys are dangerous. They'll make you laugh and laugh and laugh and laugh, and then poof, you have one of these. I don't know if guys are purposely doing this, but when they get into their vehicle with both feet at once, it's like they're jumping in instead of just stepping in. Girls, like it.
How it really feels walking in on her changing for the 6 millionth time.
Wow. I'm scared.
Because real men, good men, just want a woman that truly, deeply cares for him. Trust me.
My husband is an absolute genius. Let me show you what he did in our basement. Last year, we were finishing the ceiling in our basement, and we have these I-joists. We did not want a drop-down ceiling, but we did want an accessible ceiling. Like any other DIYer, we scoured the internet looking for a solution, but we didn't find anything that we liked. Until one day when this guy came up with a genius idea. He said, why don't we just cut pieces of drywall to fit in between each I-joist because the lip on the I-joist will hold it. My phone doesn't do it any justice, but this is the finished ceiling in our movie theater room.
The best thing about this is it's accessible. So just to show how it's accessible, these are just like panels, like a drop-down ceiling. Comes right out of there just like so.
I love this because this is a wife that truly appreciates her husband. And you can just tell by the look on his face that he is just like being super humble, but he loves the fact that his wife is appreciating him and that she's showing him off. Like, she's just so excited to do that. And that ceiling does look really good.
You're not?
No.
I mean, I was gonna say no, but why are you saying?
Oh, this one's definitely going to get me in trouble, but there is an obvious double standard. If she can have reasons to say no, but when he has a reason to say no, there's something wrong with him. In the comment section of videos like this make it pretty clear that women support other women getting upset at their man saying no. What's crazy is that it's not because she feels let down, rejected, or disconnected. It's because she wanted to say no first. She wanted to be in the position of rejecting before being rejected. That is not love. I'm going to try not to blush on this one, but these are 6 signs that that man is good in bed. 1, when he talks, he uses his hands a lot. 2, he pays attention to your feelings. 3, he is not selfish. 4, he's a good kisser. 5, he makes serious and intense eye contact with you. And 6, he is not in a rush.
When a woman says, I shouldn't have to ask him, he should already know. For example, they've talked about my guy, his job is to take out the garbage. I don't understand why I keep having to ask him to do it. He's not doing it.
All right, so
He should just know.
he should just know.
Yeah.
Take out the garbage. Is the problem the garbage isn't taken out, or the garbage isn't taken out when you want it done? Like when you want it to. My schedule. I want it done now.
Yeah.
Is that the problem, or that it's just never going to be done, and he'll just stack up 10 bags of garbage all around there?
I think it's more of, it'll be done, but it's not on the timeline that I made up.
That's pretty
Or
fair.
that we discussed.
Yeah. That's
Okay.
fair. And you shouldn't have to explain or talk or do anything, because you're the authority now of what time it needs to be done. You shouldn't have to do that.
Not his mother. I just
Yeah.
want him to take it out. Take out the trash.
But you should be a mind reader of when that should be done, right?
Yeah.
Let's just make this fair here. How often do you think he wants intimacy and you don't just do it when he thinks about it?
I cut the video short because I know how women's brains work. If you guys want to go see the full video, I'm going to tag the creator below. But the reason why that kind of reasoning does not work for women is because they're more emotional versus logical. So you bring up a very comparable situation and they will think of all the reasons why it is not a fair comparison. Logically though, guys, it is a pretty fair comparison. But if you men are experiencing a similar situation where your woman is asking you to complete a task and she ends up doing it and she's frustrated because you don't do it within her timeline, the best thing that you can do is speak in emotions. So tell her how it makes you feel. Most likely it's that you're going to feel controlled and like you can't relax in your own home, or that she is mothering you. And then follow it up with what you were planning on doing, what your timeline was. Even if this sends you guys into an argument, this is all communication that needs to happen. You don't want to have her just stepping all over you, because that pattern will continue on and on again. And I'm telling you right now, if you have a woman that is having a hard time admitting when she is wrong, you might think at the end of the argument that you didn't get through to her at all. But trust me, if you've used those words that I just used, it will make her think. Trust me.
We know it's a pretty fair comparison, but we also know that your feelings are not based in reality. And so that's why we're telling you, no, step back, get out of your feelings. This is the same thing.
If you let him know he's a priority and remind him how much you care, you will be amazed by how many problems just disappear from the relationship.
A, B, C, D, E, F. I know I skipped both the letters that come first, but the G is for goodbye and the H for all the hurt that you left me with when you ran away with them. Tell me what I could have done, 'cause I thought you were the one.
I don't know if guys are purposely doing this, but when they have to grab their cup from the top and then drink from it like this because their hands are just so big and strong, girls, like it.
Name one thing we underestimate about men. I'll go first.
Men's feelings. You can see it all the time online. There's always some woman online talking about a man needs to make sure her feelings are reassured, how she needs to feel secured, how she needs to feel validated. Me. That's all you hear. You never hear about a woman talking about how a man should feel reassured and validated and secured as well. Because, you know, he's human with human emotions. A lot of y'all are selfish. You don't let that man know it's okay for him to come talk to you. It's okay for him to come vent. It's okay for him to come cry. It's okay. No, because the man is afraid to come and talk to you because he's afraid that you're going to weaponize his feelings and use it against him later. A man has to sit in the car for 15 minutes because sitting in that lonely car is more safer than going home to his wife or girlfriend. But happy wife, happy life, right? Because as long as the woman is happy, that relationship is doing just fine, no matter how that man is feeling. And that, my friend, is fun.
A man will lose interest when he sees that he is trying way harder than you. It literally doesn't matter how pretty you are, how happy you are, how successful and confident you are. You will lose him simply because you are not showing him any effort back.
Man of TikTok, I have a question for you and it needs to be answered. Why is
that when in a relationship, men want sex every single day and they get mad or upset when their significant other says no? Her words, not mine. Woman to woman. Men crave intimacy and connection just like women do. It's just that how they often receive it is a little different than women. While women receive it through her man being romantic or emotionally opening up or having things done for her, men receive it most times through physical intimacy. But that is not to say that women do not also receive that feeling through physical intimacy. It's just that it works in a little bit of a different order. Hers is like the cherry on top. She needs that base already there in order to want that physical intimacy. And for men, they work differently. It's like that is their base. I honestly believe that the lack of physical intimacy in a relationship is the direct result of two people not accepting that they receive love in a different way. A girl that thinks she loves you will ignore you for an entire day to teach you a lesson. A woman that loves you will talk to you so that she can spend the day with you. This is so messed up because I can guarantee that that man is not questioning who is sitting next to him because he is trusting that you would never do this to him. So don't get it twisted. He did not fail a test. If anything, it's a sign that he was feeling really peaceful within the relationship because it's when you don't feel that peace that your anxiety is up and your senses are sensing everything. You're questioning everything, you're overthinking everything. And let's not forget that identical twins do not just look like each other, but they usually will sound like each other and have very similar mannerisms. So in my opinion, it is totally okay and normal for him to be fooled by this. It does not mean that he doesn't know you well enough or that he'd be perfectly as happy with your twin. It's exactly why good men hate games. And I am sure that once that man found out what was going on, he had some feelings about it.
And you're going to be talking about, oh man, you never spend time with me. But you spend the quality time with him playing games.
If you're trying to figure out what he's thinking, I'm going to give you a 2-step process. Step 1, whatever you've thought up so far, just simplify it. Cut it down in half and calm the heck down. And then step 2, ask him.
You know what's crazy? I can finally say for myself, I don't want a relationship anymore. I'm happy being alone. I'm okay with coming back home to myself every day, going to work every day. I ain't losing sleep, staying up on the phone with nobody. I ain't got to worry about providing for a female because some of y'all females ain't worth providing for. Because you don't give back to the man that's working his ass off to pay the bills or give you what the fuck you want. While you getting your nails done, he's cutting his hands, getting calloused and shit. You know what I mean? It makes no sense because you got to be worthy of a good man. You got to be worthy of someone who's willing to break his back to give you everything he never had. Okay? So I'm content with being alone. It's crazy how some of y'all strive and kill yourselves over relationships that are not worth it. Don't do it to yourself. It's not worth it. Find yourself first. That's all that matters.
This is the stuff that men dream about. Tell me I'm wrong.
Problem with a lot of marriages isn't that they've fallen out of love. The problem is they've stopped serving each other. When you're dating, all dating is you serving them. You're so happy to do whatever they want to do. You don't complain. You don't gripe about taking out the trash. You take out the trash with a smile on your face. What you're doing is you're serving each other. If you aren't careful, the longer you stay together, the lazier you will become. And what happens a lot in a lot of marriages, you're not getting the service that you want at home, so you start looking like, oh man, he is so cute at work. Oh man, she is so amazing at work. What you're doing is you're looking looking outside your marriage for something that you're not getting at home. The key to great marriages is serving each other. It's not just serving each other to get each other to sign the contract. It's continuing to serve each other throughout your marriage.
What's something you'll get a lot of hate for if you say it out loud?
That men, their whole life was taught how to treat a woman and not what to expect from a woman. But women were taught their whole life what to expect from a man, but not how to treat a man.
If you're able to recognize the amazing things that come along with a man like this, but you're unable or unwilling to give him the things that he needs, you do not deserve that type of man. Because that is a man that will care about you more than anyone else has except for your parents. That is a man that will never play games. That is a man that is straightforward with you. He will tell you what he thinks. That is a man that is all in, and he will easily fall in love with you, even when you're not fully reciprocating everything that he's doing for you. And because of that, yeah, that man is likely to overthink things. So the greatest gift that you can give a man like this is to reassure him. Reassure him that he is what you want. Reassure him that he's doing everything that he should be doing in a relationship. Reassure him of your wants and needs. Reassure him that you would tell him if something was wrong. Because the bottom line is that he just doesn't know what to expect out of a relationship, and he needs that reassurance. It's not that hard. If you can't do that, you don't deserve him.
I'm running circles trying to find another fish.
I don't know if guys are purposely doing this, but when they open up emotionally to the point at which they cry, girls, don't like it, obviously, but they should. Because they should understand that men are humans and they need to be able to express all emotions, including sadness. He's not going to fall apart, ladies. He's just as strong, if not stronger. Trust me.
The most frustrating thing about men is the fact that they refuse to acknowledge when they are being flirted with. They'll go, "You're so handsome," and they just go. They look so confused to the point where you're like, they obviously want nothing to do with me. That's okay. Won't do that again. And later you find out they liked you the whole time. So, what?
Men are not purposely refusing to acknowledge being flirted with. Because trust me, even 99% of the time, a man that thinks that maybe you're flirting with him will absolutely, genuinely talk himself out of it. And a lot of women do not understand this because they don't understand the reasons. But there are some reasonable reasons as to why he talks himself out of it. For one, men have a lot more at stake when they think that you're flirting with him, but he ends up being wrong. Such as being embarrassed, offending a woman, getting called a creep, possibly even being insulted by her. These are all pretty negative things that a man would like to avoid. And if this happens enough times, he will not be able to rely on any sort of intuition that he has on the subject. With that being said, the bottom line, ladies, is that men have said time and time again that they want you to be super clear with them because they don't get hints. Stop trying to be smooth or coy and just tell him that you're interested in him. Believe me.
I asked women to explain to me why height matters in a relationship. My only rule is that you guys had to stay body positive, and I got over 10,000 comments and almost 1,000 stitches of women explaining why height matters in a relationship. A lot of women explain that they want a man to be taller so they can feel feminine. They want to feel protected. They want to feel security. A lot of women explain that they're taller themselves and they've been told by shorter men that they're too tall and they want a man that's bigger so they can feel more feminine. I don't want to tell this story. This is a really hard story to tell, but I feel like it's 100% necessary because it's the reason I made the video in the first place. I had this friend. He was 5'4", extremely athletic, charming, kindest guy ever, super competitive, the nicest man, extremely attractive, really good dancer, life of the party. And a year before he took his own life, he opened up to me one night and he explained to me that he'd been suffering in silence and he was extremely depressed because his entire life he had been ridiculed and he had been picked on because of his stature. And he told me what hurts the most out of everything that he had ever been through is how women would never take him seriously because of his height. He'd start talking to a girl, and what's the question they always ask, gentlemen, every time you start talking to a girl? How tall are you? He never made it past that point. And when he did make it past that point, because the question was never asked or he never gave that information, he was told to his face every single time, even when they started dating for a little bit or whatever, that they could never be together because he was too short. Can't imagine what it was like to live in his shoes, and we talked about it more and more, and everyone tried to encourage him, but he got into alcohol, it spiraled out of control, he got severely depressed, and he ended up taking his own life. Every time I see comments where it's like, but how tall are you? Or I'm talking to a girl and they're like, how tall are you? I think of him every single time. And I'm watching all these videos of all these women just explaining happily, carefree, why it's okay to just turn a man away because of his height. And furthermore, explain to that man that he's not tall enough, that he's not adequate enough. I know a lot of men that struggle with this, and it is not okay. To wear heels? Some of these answers were atrocious. Can you imagine missing out on a person because of your shoes? Because he can reach things for me. It's called a step stool. It is not okay in any way, shape, or form to turn someone away, to reject somebody, to tell someone that you do not want to be with them for something that is out of their control, for their physical features. That is cruel. I get everybody has preferences and that's fine, but asking a girl how tall she is or asking a man how tall he is and then rejecting them before you even get a chance to know them, can you imagine the mental toll that takes on someone? It goes both ways, gentlemen. You ladies are way too comfortable asking guys how tall they are and turning them away, and you do not understand the mental strain and the toll it is taking on them. It's something I've never had to deal with. It's something that I've never been insecure about, but you guys need to chill out for real. You need to think about this. I've never told a girl how tall I am when they've asked, and every time a girl has, I've said the same answer every single time, 5'4". I'll need to do better, and this wasn't, but follow me. I'm pretty funny.
Modern women aren't worried about any of this. Oh, I'm so sorry. Get more confident. You just got to work it, King. Not understanding that they are the very women. Those type of women putting him down, trashing him. This is what men mean when they say they have to go into the world, do their thing and get ridiculed for it, and then have to come home to trash women like this and get ridiculed even further. That type of nonsense day in, day out is going to wear somebody down.
A man will lose interest when he sees that he is trying way harder than you. It literally doesn't matter how pretty you are, how happy you are, how successful and confident you are. You will lose him simply because you are not giving him any effort back.
It's not so bad. It's not so bad.
The reason why male friendships seem to last a lifetime is because they lack depth. Most men do not prioritize intimacy and emotional connection the way women do in our female friendships.
You said it perfectly right there. Men don't prioritize certain things like women do in their friendships. We're different. Apparently, according to what y'all are saying, women seek friendship in order to get support. Men seek out friendship to get a break from being support. I'm not about to trauma dump on you and force you to be my emotional support. There's no pressure to spend any time with me. I ain't got to worry about how I say something just because you're going to get offended. And I'm not going to hold it against you for being unavailable because life gets busy. I don't need you to pay for nothing for me. I don't need you to give me no gifts. I don't need you to be a daily support system. Because women don't understand that the greatest gift men offer each other is the gift of not having to do
Soon-to-be ex-husband just pulled up to my house in a brand new truck, and I'm not really sure if I'm sad about it or if I'm mad about it. There's a little bit of both happening there because a brand new truck really mattered more to this man than his marriage and his dog. Which, I mean, if he wants to be the loser that lives in an apartment with a brand new car, then by all means be my guest. All he's doing is showing me that he really was a financial burden on me and that I should not keep him around. One of the most consistent arguments we had was that he wanted a brand new $100,000 truck. Or does he have a real use for that car, especially now that he lives in an apartment?
I think that most guys watching this will guarantee you that that man is so happy with his new truck. And he's probably not even thinking twice about what his ex-wife thinks about it. Because that's one of the biggest benefits of being single. You get to make all of your choices yourself. And my biggest piece of advice to that soon-to-be ex-wife is to let it go. Because pretty soon, you're not going to have any ties to that man. Good men that have been through stuff will stay single until they find somebody that cannot literally go all day without talking to him. Because he is done with one-sided effort. Can we talk about the man that was fine with being single until he met you? He did not want another stressful relationship, but then he got to know you and he didn't have a choice. That man is willing to put his peace on the line for you. And if you feel the same way about him, it will be worth it.
Y'all are crazy. Women have to look top notch to get y'all's attention. Y'all could just have money.
I'm pretty sure that every single man out there would disagree with this. Men that say that they don't care about you having makeup or your nails done or your hair done up, they say that because guess what, ladies? They actually mean that. You do not need to look top notch to get their attention. Do not put him in your friend zone so that you can gain energy from his kindness and loyalty. Let him go so that he can put his energy into somebody that will value and respect him. Men are such simple creatures that they will tell you what they want. For example, if they tell you they want to spend date night ordering in a pizza and watching a movie, they literally mean that. And it can be any pizza, any movie. If a woman says that she wants pizza in a movie, what she might actually mean is a gourmet pizza, a salad with like 10 different ingredients, and wine. The movie is one out of specifically 3 that she's willing to watch. But she's chosen those in her head that you don't have access to, so good luck figuring it out. Some of you are confused about men and thinking that they're gonna stick around no matter what if they're a good man. False, because a good man will stop trying when he feels unwanted. And that's out of respect for you, because he doesn't want to feel like he's forcing you into anything. He just wants you to want him. And he has tried time and time again to fix things, but at some point he's going to be done with begging and he's going to walk away.
And he goes, he's like, that's so attractive. I said, what, someone being your mommy?
Yeah, the mommy part for some men, but no, for most men, it's just the part where someone cares enough to think about what he needs as a partner. I literally just watched another woman's video where she is mind blown because post-divorce, she's found this man that anticipates a lot of her needs and she loves him for it. She even said that she never thought that love truly existed like that. But you know what? I bet you anything that her man doesn't think anything less of her because of how she feels about it. So please don't start thinking of your man as a child simply because he appreciates how you care for him.
It really is a mystery, a sight to behold. Modern women getting a good thing and then ruining it simultaneously.
Back the fuck.
This is why dating needs to be more realistic, because you don't want to wait until you're married to find out how well you communicate and connect under stress. So if you're a man that thinks that you found the one, make sure that you haven't done too good of a job making sure that everything is her dream come true. Because you need to see if she can self-regulate when things are not going her way. Trust me. If a man is in love with you, he will apologize. He will sacrifice for you. He will be consistent and he will defend you until the day that he believes that his best is not good enough. And there's no hope for him to be the man that makes you happy. Men desire success in all aspects of their lives. If you can show him that he's enough and he's making you happy, that's everything to that man. I have said it before and I will say it again. The most attractive thing to a man is effort. He just wants somebody to talk with him, see him, and make him part of their day. Guys are simple. Can we talk about the man that has fallen in love, but he wishes that he would have met her sooner? Not for him, but for her. Because somehow he is the first man that has loved her and treated her the right way. That man is consistent and patient and selfless. Do not let go of that man. I'm not sure if guys are purposely doing this, but when they become so focused on work that they stick out their tongue just a little bit, girls, like it.
Oh my god, babe, you finally finished it.
I think they got one piece left.
Right there.
Oh my goodness. What's your problem? Why would you do that? You couldn't let me finish it.
You see what it's like to just unknown people?
That's nothing like what I do.
It's nothing like what you do?
No, I didn't hurt anybody with anything I ever did.
Babe. Really, I'm sorry. I don't know. It was funny though, no? Babe.
That man's right, because that is not funny. That is just straight up disrespectful. So much so that the only next puzzle that man should solve is how to fill out the divorce papers. By the way, doesn't that man's eyes look like Ryan Reynolds?
She knew she was wrong when she said, "Isn't that funny?" Tried to make it like, "Oh man, I knew I messed up. I did something stupid, but at least it's funny, right?" Trying to save and rescue her feelings. No, ma'am, you did something stupid and you need to apologize. Walk away. apologize, walk away, leave him alone.
When are single men grocery shopping? I tend to go Saturday morning or Sunday morning, depending upon my schedule, but don't end up seeing any men. Or what are the grocery shops that you're shopping at? Are you at Winco? Are you at Walmart? Are you at Safeway, Fred Meyer, New Seasons, Trader Joe's? Am I looking for the single men grocery shopping on the wrong days, times? Are you going every day after work to get fresh groceries? Is that when I should be going? Is that at 5? I don't know. Single women want to know. I'm happy to approach you in the grocery store if you're not wearing a ring. I just need you to be there when I'm there. So, I'm happy to adjust my grocery shopping schedule to accommodate.
I'm sorry, guys, to blow your cover, but they are there on weekday nights, and they are only there for 15 minutes in and out max.
It is very rare that I defend men on this app, but I found something I need to speak out against. Roll the tape.
What would you do if you went to work today and one of your female coworkers brought you a home-baked pie?
I wish I could have blind duetted this because he and I had the exact same expression on our face. I was so confused watching this video because this would have been my response too.
I mean, yeah, if I trust a coworker to give me a pie, then I'll take.
But why is she giving you a whole pie?
Are there like women trying to break up marriages with pies? Is this a real thing? Is this hypothetical something that I should be worried about?
So you're gonna take the pie home?
Yeah, I'll bring it home and we can eat it.
That another female made for you?
Yeah,
why is she making you pies?
Honestly, even if she was trying to break up my marriage, I think my wife would be mad at me if I didn't bring home the pie. That's fresh home-baked pie.
So I just found out that I'm not hot. And this was based on a really humbling experience where I'm trying to get 4 men together to help me move a really heavy object from point A to point B. Not a far point A to point B either. And I can't do it. It can't be done. I'm in hell. I've tried for days, texting every man I know. Can you please come help me move this heavy thing? It's a piece of granite, by the way. I think we can use that as a gauge. Number 1, can you get a group of men to help you move a heavy object from point A to point B? Number 2, how far can you get them to move it? Because what I need is a piece of granite moved about 15 feet. Cannot gather 4 men to do that. Oh, I can't. I'm going to be hung over that day. Oh, I can't. Football is on. Wham! Number 1, they don't make men like they used to. Because how come nobody wants to be helpful? Little helpless old me? You want me to pick up the granite slab? Why? You're not being helpful. Number 2, I need to level up.
I'm sorry, but this is not telling of how hot you are. This is telling of how many men that you've placed in your friend zone. And it sounds like they all exited themselves without you even realizing. Because if you think that men are just going to give all of that effort, all of that time just because you're attractive and you're literally just sitting there and you're not reciprocating anything back, they are over that. They would rather have a true friend that they're putting effort towards, or they'd rather have somebody that's wanting to be in a real relationship with them. It's that simple. Stop trying to expect things from men when you're giving them literally nothing back.
Alright, you guys, this video is for my wife. I figured I'd tell her on here so that everybody knows so I don't have anything to hide. When I boarded my plane today, I sat in my seat. A lady sat next to me. I sent you a text. I said, I'm on the plane. I love you. And then I went right from texting you to texting another girl. Said, hey, I'm on my plane. I love you. To which the lady next to me said that I should be ashamed of myself for telling my wife, who is stored as beautiful in my phone, that I boarded the plane and I love her. And then I pulled up another girl in my phone and said basically the same thing. And I had TikTok up before this, so she said she's got my TikTok handle and she's going to put it out there. So I just wanted to tell you before she does. So if you could go down to the end of the hall and tell our daughter that I will no longer be texting her from the plane that I love her because I can only love one girl at a time.
This is just one more example of how one woman's poor opinion of men can impact a good man. Because that man probably does a lot for his family and he sacrifices without recognition, which is honestly okay with him. He doesn't need the praise, but it is really detrimental when he experiences the opposite. Even though it was just from a stranger, it almost makes it worse because that man might feel now that he is presumed bad until he proves himself good, which is really messed up.
Modern women always in everybody else's business. so miserable, trying to make everybody miserable along with them, trying to take everybody down. But they keep on telling us how single, childless women are the happiest demographic. With these modern women floating around, I can't tell.
Good for you, I guess you moved on really easily.
Out how it is to live as a man, unalived herself due to the psychological scars of how difficult life was for a man. Let's read on. Says she was a radical feminist who believed men live life on easy mode and tried to prove it by disguising herself as a man for 2 years. Instead, what she found out is men actually have it harder, and wrote a book about her experience. Apparently, she had to quit after 18 months because she was starting to strongly dislike women due to how bad all of them treated her when they thought she was a man. So first things first, RIP to her, that's pretty sad. But to all you women who think life is just so easy for a man, this woman actually tried it. And she tapped out, and pretty much in the ultimate way. Most men have a hard time just being themselves in society without unaliving themselves. And you think that if you were a man, it would be easier for you? I think y'all really underestimate the difficulties of being a man sometimes.
This is a sensitive topic that I think a lot of women get wrong. Being intimate with your partner should not be looked at like a chore. Being intimate with each other is necessary to maintain the bond. And I just think that it's dangerous territory to expect a man to be okay with a sexless marriage. Because he does not just want your body. He does not want anything that you're not into. He just wants to love you and feel that connection. Your man knows that something is wrong, and the timeline depends on how many times you've done this to him before, because eventually he will get tired of asking and he will just wait for you to pick up your big girl pants and put them on.
Turning off my husband's Xbox while he's in the middle of a game.
The problem is not that you turned it off because you want your husband's help around the house, because, well, maybe he's been slacking. The problem is that you're treating him like a child, and trust me, a good man that feels appreciated and respected will get that house cleaned in half the time that you would, and then have a couple hours to game.
So if I were to die and you were to remarry, who would you be buried next to?
Why the hell are you getting remarried?
Because I'm dead.
You know how much work I had to put in just to marry you? And how much time and effort I put into this relationship? Why the heck I go searching for something else? Listen, I'm 41 years old, okay? To get back in the dating world, you'd like walk out there. Wouldn't even know what to do. I'd walk out there and be like, hi, I'm Shane. They'd be like, hi, I'm a shark.
What if you're old?
If you die, I'm going with you, okay? We're going out together holding hands, same plot.
Like
whatever.
in the Notebook?
I don't care. Yeah, I don't. Do you know how rough that would be on me? That's why I have to go first, not you. Like, screw that. Are you planning on dying with me when I go then?
Yes.
Like, are we going to Romeo and Juliet?
First of all, men hate these relationship test questions. Second of all, if you take the wife out of this video and you just make it about this man being newly single, this is exactly how so many men in their 40s that are single feel. One really messed up thing that guys experience after a breakup is when their ex not only pretends, but spreads word that he is a bad man, just so that she doesn't feel guilty over how she treated him. Have you guys seen the TikTok of the woman whose husband canceled their honeymoon after one day because he found out that she sent a goodbye text to her ex on the morning of their wedding? Of course her new husband would have a problem with this, but she just doesn't get it. She actually justified it by saying that she needed to say goodbye to have closure. But why did you wait for the day of your wedding? Look, for anyone in a relationship, let alone engaged, your partner never wants to feel like he's second choice. As if you're with him because your first choice didn't want it, or it's just that your first choice didn't want to shape up and be the man that you wanted him to be. And the whole closure thing is just a silly excuse, because you can get closure without reaching out to someone. You can write a goodbye on a piece of paper and then burn it, because by reaching out instead, you're probably actually giving him one more chance to change your mind. Something just tells me in every one of these situations that the man on the other end receiving that is saying, heck no, good riddance.
So I have recently discovered that my husband has an Instagram account, and he has been secretly taking pictures of the things that I crochet and posting them there. Look, this was my attempt at making a mouse. Not only, he named him Derby. He's naming the things that I crochet. He named him Derby because he's derpy. And he sits perched upon my charcuterie board. Are you freaking kidding me right now? Is that just not the cutest thing? Like,
this is another man doing things under the radar that shows appreciation for his wife. But not only that, he actually found a way to involve himself and have genuine interest in her hobby, which is quite literally what everyone desires in a relationship. And I bet you anything that based on this appreciation post from his wife, that she does the same for him. Imagine that, guys, coming together even though you have different interests and hobbies, but taking genuine interest in your loved one's interests. That sounds pretty good to me.
Exactly. And this is what we mean when we say that there are plenty of good men out there going and showing support for her hobby, even though he might not necessarily be interested in that. But let a man say, I'm not really interested in rom-coms. This is not the man for me. This is not the man God has chosen for me. Modern women logic.
All right, y'all. So I just broke up with my ex of 5 years, and I literally have no complaints about her. Like, she was perfect, right? I used to didn't have a car. Now I have a car. But when I didn't have a car, she used to let me ride around in her car all day while she was at work. And I still didn't have a job. And and it doesn't get any better than that. She used to pay for all the meals. She paid for the bills, all that, until I got my stuff together. But it was just something about her. It was just something about her I just couldn't comprehend. I can't really explain it to y'all, but she was so perfect. But you know how somebody can be good to you, but they're just not that good person to you? You know, they're that perfect person, but it's just, to me, it's more than just being a perfect person. But they just wasn't that perfect person for me, if you get what I'm saying. It just doesn't make sense. And I know it doesn't make sense, but I'm going to try to make it make sense. But she was so perfect in every aspect. She looked good, made good money. I made $30,000 that year, but she made $120,000, and she still humbled herself down to come mess with me.
For the women that are writing angry comments right now, and for the good men that are not happy with this man, don't attack him because it's a parody of a woman talking about her breakup on TikTok. We have seen a few of these now where a woman will come on and she will say that she just broke up with her boyfriend, and she doesn't really give a solid reason why. She'll actually list all of the amazing things about him. Look, ladies, the reason why men get so frustrated hearing these stories is because they want you to be able to communicate why. And you're not really communicating why when you're just talking about all the amazing things about him. The real reason why I think you're having a hard time communicating it is because the real reason is that when you started dating him, you didn't really like him that much, but you liked his efforts and he didn't really require much from you. So instead of recognizing that and being honest with your real feelings, you kind of used him. That is why you don't really have a reason that you can tell that will still allow you to look like a decent human being. The end.
Exactly. And that's when the Drizzle Drizzle movement was birthed, because of modern women's stupidity, foolishness, and constant escaping of accountability.